Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back to the rest of the story. The Beanhead has given up the shaft that I fixed the other day, and I was able to fix this in about 36 minutes. At least that's what the video footage was on sped up, and I got it down to a brisk like 9.5 minutes. So we're on the accelerated program on getting this bad boy back together. So the other day the shaft snapped. I hold up the bearing where it has broken again, where I welded it, but seems how it broke on a Friday afternoon, and they weren't 100% sure, machined down, overnighted for next morning, if we were going to get it by Saturday. So it broke at like 2 in the afternoon, and you know what? We got it apart. We're not out of anything. Let's take it home and weld it. So I did. Took the grinder to it. V'd out the break pretty deep, and cranked the welder up on high, as in very, very, very hot, like liquid lava, and I burned it in pretty good. It wasn't, it's welding a shaft. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but we were able to run another over 100 acres. We ran 100 acres through it on that patched up shaft, and the old bearings and everything were reused. I'm being a little careful with power takeoff shaft because putting it back together last Friday, the shaft, when I was trying to get the bolts back in or get it out or whatever we were trying to do, the yoke on the end, we dropped it and my finger was in the middle of it. And we did that Friday. Today is Tuesday, and my finger's still a little numb. So that was a pretty good one. And with everything being taken apart the other day, everything comes apart pretty easy for the most part. Later on here in this video, I do switch to my the go-to hammer. And, new parts, old parts, the hammer seems to work the best. And, there it is. A little speedy going across the camera, but new flanges, new bearing, going back in. So I didn't even bother trying to get the old shaft out. No point. The bearings, the old ones in particular, they were well used. They weren't junk. I probably could have used them, and they probably would have lasted maybe years. But you could tell they were getting dry. So, going, that's right, got a hammer, and violence solves everything. Dropped the old shaft out, was able to get that bearing holder, slid that back off, and it doesn't show it. I held up the end of the shaft for you guys to see. So it took just under 10 minutes to tear the old one apart. Ran home, got the new one, because we did go up and get it, but seems how everything was working, and why bother, right? We kept running, and even though I was down for about 45 minutes, I was still up and running before Ryan was able to get back. He's hitting traffic just wrong, and the only traffic he's really hitting is the lines at the elevator, because locally, the one that Dad and Ryan were shipping to sounds like that's where everybody is shipping to. So I don't know. Everybody knows the whole river. Maybe you guys don't. The whole river situation isn't outstanding. I guess there's 2 different sections of the Mississippi River that had completely shut down traffic, barge traffic. The last I heard, they did reopen it. They were able to dredge out the sections that were low, so at least that would allow barge traffic through. But the last I heard, they're down like 30%. They reduced their carrying capacity by 30%, so that's just that much less barges can move up river, down river, and it's just completely burning our basis. And I'd say it's not outstanding. With everything I got locked in for myself, Dad and Ryan did better than me because they shipped to the other elevator. The problem is my beans are the farthest away from, technically the farthest away from the elevator. See, we're heading west, and the elevator is southeast. So it just adds that much more to the trucking, and I wasn't really gaining much by sending Ryan clear to Warren, and I'm hoping by that it cuts his distance that he has to drive in half, and hopefully that last farm, the farthest farm, we can knock out in about a day, because the farm that I'm on right here, it's Ryan's farm, but I'm not exactly pushing myself because I'm still down a cart, so I only have the red cart and the combine, and I still have to run out, was about a half a hopper to get the truck as full as Ryan wants. And I got to go through and I'm lining up the hole for the bolt. There's a bolt that has to go through that, and it just kind of dropped in on me. And then once again, we got man's best friend, hammer. So new shaft doesn't really hurt it too much because everything's new, everything is a clean fit. It literally just tapped it in, and I was good to go. So it's a quick fix like this doesn't bother me. I mean, it's annoying that it happens on the weekend, and you hear people say, "Well, then don't farm on Saturdays or Sundays." But with the weather situation being really not that dire, but they are calling for an uncertain amount of rain tonight. I'm hoping we can at least get this farm done, which we got about a third of it to go, and then we'll see where we end up. I'm really hoping by the time you guys see this video, Ryan will be done. I'll be like 90% done, and it'd actually be kind of cool if we were done with beans by the time you see this video. The head works great. Functionally, it works all right. We got a wiring gremlin. We fixed it. The grounding wire was bad, so we shined it up, put it back on, and it ran. Didn't act up once all day. Well, back to that grounding wire. We moved farms, and I that multi-point connector, the connection there, I kind of wrenched on it when I unhooked it from the farm before this one. And it looks to me like I pulled on that ground wire, because when I hooked up to the head this morning, fired it up, just nothing but no sensor, out of range. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? So I got down, looked at it, and I have broken a bunch of the wires off of that grounding connector, or the connector, the wires that go into the connector. So what I'm going to do is cut it off flush, put a new one on, and I'm actually going to move the ground from where it was at, because it's stretched pretty tight, and it gives me a little bit more wiggle room when we go through and run today. I ran with it like that. It runs. I mean, the head floats and everything great, and we're done. So that's what happens when the head is, you break that shaft, you lose your auger reel, so you collect a bunch of beans and turn it on. Pulls it right in beautifully. I really do like this bean head. Overall, this setup, the combine, the bean head, just completely passes the 9510 and the bean head we had in the past. It's not its fault. That 9510 didn't owe us anything. I mean, we kind of abused that poor thing. But with what we had and the acres we have, we kind of needed to. So that's all I got for this, guys. Repair videos for the win. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. Talk to you later.